What's up, y'all? What's up? What's up? Hold on one second. I gotta put me a cough drop in my mouth. Oh no, I just dropped it. There we go. Hold on one second, y'all. All right, y'all, I'm back. Happy Tuesday to you guys. This is probably going to be my last broadcast today, because I really need to let my voice recover, and let these sinuses get done doing whatever it is that they are doing. But our declaration on this particular video is, what does faith look like? I'm going to say that again. Our declaration on this video is, what does faith look like? I'm going to say it again. What does faith look like? And I'm not sure who this is for, but as I was just kind of going throughout my day, kind of running the errands that I need to run so that I can process these t-shirt orders that have come in, the Lord began to talk to me about what faith looks like. Faith in the form of action, right? And so I'm going to ask you, what does faith look like? Meaning, what do you need to be doing today, to show God that you trust him? I'm going to say it one more time. What do you need to be doing today to show God that you trust him in whatever area it is? And honestly, this stemmed from just a moment, right, where I knew that God was telling me, listen, you need to go to Hobby Lobby and get a painting for your living room. And it revolved around, hey, blessings to you, Natasha. I was out for the count. My sinuses have been draining just a little bit. Hey, Miss Janet. Blessings to y'all. Our declaration is, what does faith look like? That is our declaration. For those of y'all that are just now coming in, I don't plan to be on here long. It is raining here in Mississippi, which I don't mind at all. And I am driving, so I may miss some comments, but I'm going to try to get this word out. Again, the declaration is, what does faith look like? I need some of y'all to ask yourself that question. What does faith look like for you today? Meaning, what do you need to be doing in whatever area it is to show God that you trust him? What do you need to be doing? It stemmed from, and God has always given me revelation, but it stemmed from a moment I went to pick up a t-shirt, a blank t-shirt, because I needed this particular size to process this shirt order. And the Lord had told me after I left, I'm still recovering, so all the way not feeling my best, but feeling better and better each day. But God had asked me, he told me rather, he said, I want you to go to Hobby Lobby and get a painting for your living room. And I kid y'all not, I was on my way to Hobby Lobby and then fear kicked in. You ever had something like that happen, right? Where God tells you to do something and then fear/logic begins to click in, and your mindset immediately becomes not doing whatever that thing is. It's almost like you talk yourself out of doing whatever God needs you to do. So I had a moment like that. I was actually headed to Hobby Lobby, and fear kicked in, and I went home. I kid y'all not. I went home. Said, God, I'm going back home. And when I got home, God reiterated. He said, I told you to go to Hobby Lobby. And then he followed it up with this question. Why don't you trust me? Because in that moment, I knew that God knew that, like, my logic was behind, like, what about the bill I got to do? What about the bills I have to do? I was literally thinking from a logical place, like, God, it don't make sense for me to do this when I know I got to pay this, I got to pay that, right? And he reminded me in that moment how, like, for many of us, we're in a season of movement. We're in a season of progress being made in every single area of our life. But he reminded me how easy it becomes, right, to not embrace the new thing that God is doing. It becomes an easy thing to try and place logic around the things that God has told you to do. And a lot of times, in placing logic behind what God is leading you to do, you will end up talking yourself out of what could have been one of the biggest breakthroughs of your life. He says, I need to say that again. It's an easy thing, right? when God is moving in your life, because when God tells you to move or to do something, it never seems like the right choice. In fact, our human brain will try to tell God that now is not the right time for me to do what you're asking me to do. But in trying to place logic around the things that God has put in your heart in this season, it becomes really, really easy to get to a point where you talk yourself out of it because of logic, right? Because faith never seems logical. And so he wanted me to ask you guys this question. What does faith look like? Yeah. What does faith look like? Because the truth of the matter is God has asked some of you guys to do certain things. And because you've been so stuck in your mind around trying to make it make sense, you've already started to talk yourself out of seeing God's hand move in that area. And I don't know who this is for, but God says whatever it is that you put prosper, but you have to do your part. I'm going to say it again. What God says to tell you guys is that, or there's someone on here, that whatever you put your hands to in this hour, God will bless, but you still have to show up and do your part. And that may be for several people that are watching this. But again, I just got on here to give this reminder. What does faith look like? Because without you making any type of action, right? It's not faith that you have. It's just you're wishing upon a star. He's been having me say that all day. So be sure that for the things that you've told God you receive in this hour, that, you're willing to make the necessary leaps of faith to see God's hand move and to see him meet your effort. And so that's just the broadcast. I'm telling y'all, I had a moment. I was like, God, it don't make sense to go to Hobby Lobby. It ain't time for me to go to Hobby Lobby, God. I just want to go home because I really want to lay down because I'm not feeling well. And I went home and God straight up told me, I told you to do X, Y, and Z. Why don't you trust me? Right? Why don't you trust that I'll get it done? And I believe that that's what God is saying to so many of us on today. Those of us that are trying to rationalize, those of us that are trying to, be logical about the things that God has called us to do in this season. I believe God is asking that same thing. What does faith look like, and why don't you trust him? And so that is the broadcast, man. That is it. And so I'm going to go ahead and get off of here. You guys know I don't add nothing to these words. I don't take away anything from it. To those of you guys that feel led to sow, go ahead and sow as God leads you to sow. There's at least one person on here that needs to sow $100 seed. Don't know who you are. It's not my business to know who you are. But if you know that you need to sow, I want to encourage you to go ahead and sow. If you know that sowing has been something that God has been telling you to do over and over, and you today be the day that you fall into full obedience and full faith. And so that is it, y'all. As I always tell y'all, I love y'all. I'm rooting for you. Hey, Visha.